This is the Tilta Advanced Ring Grip for DJI RS2 gimbal, and it might just be the most important piece of gear you can buy for the RS2. Or it might be a huge waste of money. Let's talk about it. Hello my babies, my name is Jeremy Burchard. I am one half of the pop rock duo Moonlight Social, and I am also a director, cinematographer, and editor. I make music videos, commercials, narrative work, and all kinds of content. On this YouTube channel, we share not only all of the music and videos we dream up, but also tips, tutorials, and reviews of the gear we use to make our content. If that kind of thing is interesting to you, please feel free to give us the subscribe and the old thumbs up. It would really help our channel grow so we can make better and better videos for you. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about this, quite frankly, attractive piece of kit. It is the Tilta Advanced Ring Grip, designed specifically for the RS2, and along with Tilta's float and Hydra Alien car mount, the Advanced Ring Grip forms the bulk of the ecosystem designed to make the DJI RS2 a truly professional gimbal for smaller cameras. So I ordered this Advanced Ring Grip back when they were first announced in November 2020, and it took like half a year to get here. When I bought it, it was listing for $500. I also happened to get the Black Friday 10% off coupon, so I got it for a cool $450 pre-tax. Now they are selling for, I believe, $800, and that is if you can find them. They've been selling like hotcakes and are back ordered most places that I've looked. That said, I wanted to wait several months before actually making a review of this piece of gear because I wanted to actually try it and figure out all of its little quirks and really come up with, my opinion on whether or not I think it's something that you should buy. First of all, let's talk about what this is supposed to do and why you would want to use it in the first place. The Advanced Ring Grip is designed for shooters who need more stability, power, and rigging options when it comes to using the RS2. Its primary purpose is to give users 2 points of contact to hold and operate the gimbal. In essence, it is a cousin to the ring grip that DJI sells with the bigger Ronin 2. A ring grip design has several benefits over other similar pieces of kit like a Steadicam. For one, it is inherently easier to use and balance than a Steadicam. It's also easier to set down because of things like these feet. It's easier to transport, it's easier to carry around with this handle, and by the very nature of the product, it provides a little bit of protection for the camera thanks to these side grips. The ring design also allows you to attach pieces of gear like a ready rig if you want to transfer a lot of the weight of the system to your hips and provide additional Z-axis support. I personally have not had to use my ready rig with this ring grip. It's actually light enough for me to operate in most cases. If I were doing like a 10-hour day or multiple days in a row, I would probably want to have something because it does get a little bit tiring on the arms after a while. But then again, when using something like the Ronin 2, it's not an option to not use a ready rig. I mean, that thing you can hold up for maybe a minute at a time before your arms are dead. Beyond providing 2 points of contact and more stable operation, the second main function of the Advanced Ring Grip is to provide additional power options. As you can see, I've actually purchased the V-mount extension. This is something that you have to buy extra. It does not come with the Advanced Ring Grip. I plug in this big old brick and it powers both the RS2 and my Blackmagic Pocket 4K by way of a D-tap cable. You can also buy other power modules to attach to the ring grip. There's a spot here and over on the right side, and then on the bottom right as well. It's really great. You can, power things like a phone or a tablet that you might be using to monitor your feed from your RS2 or control active track. Basically, it's a big old carbon fiber ring that you can use to connect whatever accessories you need to. The third function of the Advanced Ring Grip is to give you additional control right at your fingertips. The grips themselves have all of your controls for the RS2 right here. The left grip actually allows you to control an additional Nucleus Nano or Nucleus M focus motor that you can use to control iris or zoom, other things like that. I actually have never needed to use the left grip because I only use this one focus motor that came with the RS2. So all of my control comes right here. All right, so that's why you might want to purchase an Advanced Ring Grip, but how does it do when it actually comes to performing those functions? For starters, there is an instantly noticeable difference in the stability of your footage and operation of the gimbal when you're using the grip. The difference between having the primary center of support be the middle of your body when you're holding the RS2 and being further out when you've got the ring grip is massive. Instantly, I found that I was able to produce much smoother movement when I have this ring grip and I use my whole body to control the gimbal versus just trying to control it straight out of the box with 2 hands on the center handle. One of the big reasons for this is that when you are operating the RS2 without something like the ring grip, the motion is exaggerated. Your hands are so much closer and so much tighter to the point of rotation for the pan and tilt axis that any little motion can provide a drastic difference. That's why you have to adjust things like the deadband setting and your other settings to dial it in perfectly. But when you're using something like this grip, you can be more intentional in the movement of the gimbal because you're using your body and your arms almost like an extension of the camera itself. To me, it connects you to the camera a bit more and helps you have a better grip on the movement of the camera. And it's just nice. I think, when it comes down to camera movement, a lot of people want to feel like they are connected to the camera itself. And as an operator, it allows you to do that. The handles are great. I only use the right one since I only have the one focus motor. It did, however, take some time getting used to the fact that the handle doesn't have a trigger. So for instance, when you want to center the gimbal using the RS2 without the advanced ring grip, there's a trigger that you would just kind of double tap, and it felt very intuitive, and the gimbal snaps back into a centered place. If you want to lock down the gimbal, you hold the trigger down, stuff like that. On the advanced ring grip, those functions are controlled by this button with a square on it on the front of the right handle. The back of the handle has a power button that kind of feels like a trigger, and so it's a little confusing. Your hand just kind of natively wants to press this button as if it were the trigger, recreating the trigger on the RS2 without the ring grip, but all of that is actually controlled on the front of the right grip. It's a minor gripe, but I've been using this thing quite a bit now, and it still comes up where I'll be like accidentally double tapping this power button instead of double tapping the little button on the front of the handle. I don't know, maybe that says more about me than the actual technology. I hope not. If you've used this and have made a similar mistake, please leave a comment below so I don't feel as bad about it. Or leave a comment below telling me that I'm dumb, but in a nice way, please. These little handles can be used independent of the grip as well, which is dope. I've never had to do that, but you could just screw them off and basically screw them off. You could unscrew them and you can use them to, in theory, control the gimbal wirelessly using this little module down here. Sorry, I don't know if you can see it. There's a little module, this little guy. It's how it controls this, controls this. This communicates to this to control this is what I meant. Anyways, the point is, you could in theory use just the handle wirelessly to control the RS2. Some people were upset because they found out that these handles actually require their separate rechargeable batteries. They don't receive power from the gimbal itself, which I guess I understand being a little upset by that. It kind of leads me into one of my biggest complaints about the advanced ring grip. My biggest gripe about this otherwise really nice piece of gear is how it handles power. You take the battery grip from your RS2 and connect it at the top. It serves both as a handle, and if you don't have the V-mount battery extension down here, it powers the gimbal, of course, minus these handles, which require their own batteries. For whatever reason, when you are only using the battery grip attached to the top to power the gimbal, there's a constant slow drain of the battery. Meaning, even if you turn off the gimbal in between uses, it's always drawing a little bit of power from the battery grip. I don't know why. I found myself even unscrewing the top here in between uses sometimes to disconnect the little power pins so that the lights stop blinking and I pretend that maybe it's saving a little bit of power. I have no idea why it does this. It's incredibly frustrating. But yeah, if you finish shooting and you've got half of the battery left on this, if you just leave it out overnight, it'll be dead by the morning. Because I have this massive V-mount brick attached to it, I'm not really that worried. I use the brick to power both the gimbal and my camera, and it lasts plenty long. And knowing that you have that available, you just bring lots of extra V-mount batteries and you're set. So it's a lot less of a problem in practice than it is in theory. But as somebody who starts to freak out when their phone battery drops below 65%, it just really does not make me feel good to know that this thing is always draining a little bit of power. I'm also a little bit confused because it seems like even when the V-mount is attached, it draws power from the grip first. So if you attach a V-mount battery, the grip will drain first and it doesn't get charged by the V-mount, which means if you, for whatever reason, want to take this off the ring grip and use it with just the main battery grip, hope you have an extra one because this might be dead by the time you get to that point. I've done some digging on the internet to see if people have similar battery power issues, and I haven't found a whole lot of conversation around it, so I don't think it's just me, but it could be. If you have used this and seen a similar issue, please let me know in the comments below so that we can try to figure out what's going on. Again, that issue is not big enough for me to send this back or anything like that. Having the V-mount option with the V-mount plate that you purchase in addition to the advanced ring grip is great. It alleviates most of my power concerns, but I still want to know why it does it. So do I recommend all RS2 owners buy this ring grip if they can find it? No, I don't. I think that if you are a casual user, if you use the RS2 for a lot of, product shots or vlogging, things like that, I really don't think you're gonna need something like this. Just having the gimbal as it comes out of the box, first of all, it's a smaller form factor, it's less noticeable, it's easier to transport in terms of putting it back in a case, like all that stuff, it's gonna be fine for you. But if you are shooting in a more controlled environment with more specific motion needs and you really want to take your game to the next level, I do think the Advanced Ring Grip is probably the most important piece of gear you can buy for the RS2. The fact that it's only compatible with the RS2 is a bit of a bummer. I do think that DJI is going to lean into the RS2 as their flagship prosumer gimbal for a while, so I don't think this is going to be suddenly less valuable. I think you're probably good for the next 5 years or so. If your camera size fits on the gimbal and if you're happy with what the gimbal offers you, having something like this is a good investment, especially for the price. Even though it went up to $800 from $500 a few months after it came out, I still think it's definitely going to pay for itself in that amount of time. I mean, to summarize, I do think that something like this is the missing element that makes the RS2 a truly professional gimbal if you've got a smaller camera that works on it. And nowadays, smaller cameras are becoming more and more powerful, more and more popular. Things like the Blackmagic series, which do fit on the RS2, things like the Komodo. I'm sure we're gonna see tons of new professional cameras come out in a very small, sleek form factor for which the RS2 works perfectly. In fact, I actually sold my Ronin 2. I'll get into that in a different video. This is not the video for that conversation, but the fact that I have this kit was part of the reason. And even when I had the Ronin 2 and the larger camera, I found myself turning to this much more often because it's much more convenient. It provides equal, if not better, results in many scenarios. And ultimately, I liked what I was getting with this combination. And if anybody's wondering right now, this is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K with the Vazen 28mm anamorphic lens and a small rig matte box on front. This is my default go-to setup for a lot of what I shoot. It's easier to operate with a smaller crew, it's easier to transport, and the footage looks great, right? The most important part. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please consider giving us a subscribe, a thumbs up, a comment, and maybe go watch some more of these Gear Talk videos that we've made just for you. Toll-free call? How about you toll-free off? Hello. This is me talking into the microphone, testing some things out, maybe lowered a bit, somewhere around here. The DJR, Tilta Advanced Ring Grip for the DJI RS2. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. I'll have it right here. I'll be like, wow, look how big it is. And then yeah.